Okay, good afternoon. I thought I owed you an explanation from the last video, and so I've done some work on the shaper. I will say right off the bat that the work we did last time did not solve the problem by a long shot, not even close. So I did a bunch more little things to try to improve the situation, and I think I've gotten to a point where it's probably as good as it's going to get. I've been playing around with this little block, just a little teeny block of cast iron, and I just made a couple cuts on it, and I'm going to see if it's even close to the right width. And it is exactly right. So that part's working. I'm convinced now that I can square up a block in this vise. Like any time you try to square something up, it's a little tricky, because anytime you put an uneven or an unsquare side against either jaw, it's not going to work. So you need to, make one good side and then keep rotating it to get to a point where you're got all four sides. But I think it is working. So just a quick recap, what I did. Originally, what I did, I changed these tightening clamping screws. That's one thing I did, and I think every little thing I did, I think, helped a little bit. No one thing solved the problem, but each little thing did help. So what I did is I ended up scraping the face of the rear jaw, so it was perpendicular to the table and to the base that I scraped originally. So it was, when I had to get the dial indicator out and look at this face, and it was a 1.5 or 2 thousandths out. So anyway, I fixed that, and that was probably one of the biggest problems. And then I changed these clamping screws. This is one of the original ones that I made, and it's kind of, it's more, it looks more like it should, But that said, these screws, I bought them from McMaster Car, and they have a swivel on the end, and it works very smooth, just like a ball bearing, So when you tighten it, when you tighten the clamp, the end of the screw isn't trying to lift the rear jaw. So that helped. Although, tightening it still does lift the rear jaw. But now, with the work I've done, and I'll show you here. So there's those screws. What I've done is I've taken the front jaw and I scraped the face of it, and I scraped one side, which is the bottom, So these two are perpendicular. So that means I've got, you know, two jaws that are, well, it's got a bunch of chips under there, but it's got two jaws that are mating correctly. And then I put some little divots back here, so these clamping screws have some place to go. It doesn't align it or anything because I left enough play in there, but that's okay. That it does work quite nice. So the other thing I did was to I didn't do anything to this jaw. This jaw I didn't do anything. I just left it as is because it doesn't really, I don't think it has any effect. Probably the fact that the threaded holes in it may not be aligned or something, you know, that may be some problem, but I don't really think it has any major effect. So that jaw just remained the same. It's going to be a really short video because there's not much to talk about. I don't want to waste time scraping or cutting, but anyway, you can see that this jaw has been scraped in too. So, and the bottom of this one was originally scraped the other day, and I did a little more work on it, but it doesn't really matter. We had it flat to begin with, so all those things helped. So now, when I put the work in there, you know, against the parallels, now I can tap it down. If in fact that the two faces are parallel to each other that are being clamped in the vise, otherwise it's not going to. But if everything is the way it should be, then I can tap it down tight against the parallels now. So I think I haven't actually tried to square a block up, so that's another project. But I did make some cuts on this little block, and everything, it is a small block, but everything seemed to be correct. I just checked these two faces and they're right on, so within a half a thousandths. I just checked it with this, but set of calipers, but it is right on. So right on the money, within a half a thousandths, let me put it that way. So I'm satisfied with the way it is now. After I did that, I decided that I would also do something about this vise. So this vise is, I only did one thing to this vise. I scraped the front jaw because it wasn't perpendicular to the base. And then when I had the dial indicator out, you know, I checked this face here, and it was it needed material taken off the bottom side of it. So that wasn't good because it just rocked the workpiece up, and so that's why that was lifting. So I'm able to get things down a little bit better. This vise still tends to lift things, but I can tap them down. I haven't checked or scraped the movable jaw, so that'll be the next step. And I did pick up a I don't know if you can see that, probably not, but I did pick up a 1/1000th feeler gauge. Kind of funny stuff. It's a precision feeler gauge, and they're quite inexpensive. And it comes in a big long piece. I don't know, maybe it's a foot long, but I just cut it into some shorter pieces. So it has two good ends on it, and I cut some shorter pieces out of the center of it. So it helps me determine if something's within 1/1000th of an inch anyway. So that was helpful. So anyway, that's where I'm at. This is just I just want to post this as an update to the last video. That way I don't leave everybody hanging out there. But so I'll call off now. Thanks for watching, and talk to you later. Bye-bye.